Welcome to the LSI Behind the Wind podcast. My name is Sean Slatter, and for 30 years I've dedicated my life to the science of business development. I've seen the impact of our work, which has evolved into economic development and now social impact. In this episode, I'm joined by Bob and Tom Dushan, who I've known for many years and have been a longtime partner and a collaborator in a lot of our work. We talk about the LSI history with our Veterans Initiative and now our Military Spouse Employment Program. It's a fun episode, and I hope you enjoy it.
As we continue this thread over the next several weeks, looking at economic development and social impact, I've really worked with our team to build a schedule where we can give some insight into some of the engagements that the team's working, and also give you some visibility with some of our executives managing large engagements. One of the really great social impact projects that we have been working over the last few years has been creating jobs for military spouses. It's probably a demographic that you may not have thought about previously, but it really is a challenge, especially with the non-commissioned officer families that are stationed on these bases. If they're on a base that is rural or has limited opportunities for jobs, oftentimes while the member is deployed, they are unable to work. There's a lot of barriers for employment with these military spouses. Most of these individuals have education and have just a tremendous amount to offer, and yet have difficulty connecting with good jobs in an area. And so we've, over a 2-year period, have created a really great strategy around creating jobs for these individuals. And a lot of these families need 2 incomes to be successful and to meet the needs of their families. So I've asked Bob and Tom Dushan to join me this morning. Bob and Tom have been working with us for several years now in Colorado, in both Denver and Colorado Springs, and have been very instrumental in the strategy of this program, working with the leadership of Fort Carson in Colorado Springs. But they've also been instrumental in shaping the overall strategy and working some of the policy. So I'm really excited to have both Bob and Tom join me this morning. And just to start out, Bob and Tom, could you give us some background on yourselves and some of the other things that we've worked together, including the Citadel engagement, which I thought was really fantastic. Tom, maybe if we could start with you, just give a brief history of yourself and some of your background, and then we'll hear from Bob.
That sounds good. Thank you, Sean, and good morning to everyone on the call. Thank you for being on as well. Bob and I were introduced to Sean and LSI several years ago via a classmate of ours, Alex Beeler. And Alex, Bob, and I were in grad school together in Virginia, in law school there. Bob and I have had our own business for over 3 decades now. Basically, it's a telecom consulting business, and our focus has been in the combination of cable television, broadband, institutional network, smart cities, those kind of things. And basically, as that industry is morphed, so has our business. Bob and I come at this from a business and a legal standpoint. It's a very entrepreneurial approach. It meshes very well with LSI and the entrepreneurial approach there. As with all of you, Bob and I have our own work experiences we bring to the table and approach. We represent a lot of cities and counties throughout the United States. Our work, though we're based in Colorado, our work's covered about 39 states and Puerto Rico. The way we approach this is that we build relationships with people, we team with people, we work with cities and counties and private industry from strategy development standpoint. So again, the quick history, as with you all, a lot of hard work, a lot of windshield time out there as far as being on the road, as far as developing our business. And we're constantly working as far as building the pipeline ourselves and finding the work, doing the work, and all the above, getting paid for the work. It's all a challenge, and we enjoy it. Bob and I have done this together for many years and really enjoyed the working relationship with Sean and with LSI. We worked with many of you. So from a collegial standpoint, that's how we approach it. It's a team effort on our part where we can add value. We're glad to do so. So quick summary there before we get into the military spouse and veterans pieces. What I will say is that some of the initiatives we've worked on with LSI include the Citadel, as Sean mentioned. Colleague of ours, Dr. Connie Book, was the provost at the Citadel. That may not be the exact title, but basically Connie. And so we'd worked with Connie, who's a PhD in communications before she went over there. She was a professor at Elon University. And we had a great working relationship with LSI on that, basically, and several of you were involved. And we were successful as a group, as a team, in getting a $1.2 million grant for the Citadel on a STEM project. Actually, we went in there on a cybersecurity related matter and ended up getting them a STEM grant. So one of those where you get a call and say, hey, by the way, while you're assisting on this, can you do that? And we said, right answer is sure. And then we all worked in a very condensed time period. The work quality of LSI was just outstanding. I mean, the grant writing, what was done, the attention to detail, corporate, from a high level corporate overview, and meeting those timeframes, which were challenging as far as there, but we got the job done. And we've worked with LSI on cybersecurity related issues in Colorado Springs. There's a Center for Cybersecurity there that University of Colorado Springs has had, who's been one of our clients for many years, and that had its own challenges internally, trying to find its way. But in the course of that, we've done a lot of work. We worked with the chancellor, with Sean. Sean's been in Colorado Springs innumerable times, graciously being there, for meetings, and we've done a lot of work leading to the work we did at Fort Carson. Bob, you want to go ahead and give a quick summary from there as far as that part goes?
In the spirit of trying to keep this brief, I would just echo what Tom said. As you look at us, there's no malfunction in terms of your desktop or laptop. We're identical twins. We sound alike. So anything I could add, he's probably already said. So I
love it. No, and both Bob and Tom are big sports fans, love college basketball and baseball, and we share that in common as well. Well, hey, let's talk about this great opportunity with this military spouse initiative. This concept came about a few years ago, actually working Fort Belvoir in Virginia, and the state of Virginia, who said, we've got this high concentration of military spouses in Northern Virginia. Many of them have skills, certifications, and licenses and advanced degrees. And the governor's staff had challenged us to put together an initiative. And we sort of worked this slowly, but got a lot of attention when we wrote the legislation for the NDAA, which recognized professional licenses and certifications of military spouses across state lines. And then, as you know, we worked with several state legislatures on replicating that and ratifying that piece of legislation throughout the state. And now, over the last 2 years, we have been challenged to look at implementing a DoD-wide initiative for these military spouses. We thought Colorado Springs was such a great pilot location because of the amount of military spouses in the area. And we also had a similar request out of the governor's office of Colorado, where there was some confusion on why is there such a high unemployment rate in Colorado Springs when just up the road in Denver, there's negative unemployment. Well, when we did this analysis, we said it's the military spouses. They want to work and there's just not jobs for them. So Bob and Tom, maybe talk about, Bob, maybe we can start with you. Talk about the history of how this has evolved and what you see as this opportunity long term.
Glad to, Sean. So because Colorado Springs has such a large military presence, we focused our efforts on Fort Carson. Tom, being in Colorado Springs, has proximity and developed connectivity with the garrison commander, Colonel Brian Mortinger there. He has since retired, but prior to his retirement, we spent a lot of time working with Fort Carson, the end result of which was we received a letter of support from Fort Carson, where they welcomed our involvement. They know they've got a lot of transitioning vets who are looking for jobs. And with the military spouse situation, as Sean has mentioned, these are very capable folks. And the difficulty is every couple of years they move. So unless they have employment opportunities that are remote, perhaps it could be with an Amazon or with a Google or a Facebook, they are not able to hold jobs. So our goal was to help the military spouses and the transitioning vets, given their service to our country, that we could do some good for them. So what we did is we teamed with Fort Carson, and then we also teamed with an institution called Mount Carmel. And Mount Carmel has a very enviable track record of helping transition vets into the workplace. They come at this from a holistic approach, from a mental health standpoint, from an economic development standpoint. And what we found is, as in most things that we've done over the past several decades, you can't do this alone. You need to put together a team of people and organizations to make this a reality. What we found is that we had the conversation with Alex. He's within the Pentagon, within the Secretary of the Army's domain, and many of his officers. And what we found is there are two ways to go at this. It's a top-down approach and a bottom-up approach, and you need to do both. You need to have buy-in at a grassroots level, as Dave shared with us the other day, at the base level, and then you need to have someone well-positioned within the government who says, yeah, this is a great idea, or have a Congress person, a congressional representative who says, yeah, why is there such high unemployment in my district? So that is the essence of what we're doing now. We're still putting together the strategy. Dave's done a great job assembling a team of folks, other consultants who specialize in economic development or remote training. Or workforce training, and that's what we're doing now. We're putting together the team of people so that we can hopefully enlist the support of the federal government, so that we can help make this a reality. Sean shared with us way back. One of the key problems here is there's no viable metric. Once these people leave the service, how successful have other organizations been in actually placing people in jobs? With LSI's track record of job creation, job placement, we want to put a metric on this, and we think that's going to help us. Tom, any other thoughts?
Sure. In Colorado Springs, for those of you that may or may not know, as far as the bases, we, as Bob mentioned, a lot of military installations, and Sean has referred to that too. I mean, and I don't want to leave some out, but basically, to give a quick overview, we've got Fort Carson, we have the Air Force Academy, we have NORAD, we have Schriever. We're now the interim home of the Space Command, a new wing of the service, hoping to become the permanent home. So, and there are other installations there as well too. So it's a lot of people in the Colorado Springs area are connected, and there are a lot of veterans in the Colorado Springs area as well too. So it's a significant presence. Along following this path, Sean, would you please update the group as far as that goes along these, in terms of the discussion regarding employment for military spouses and veterans, please?
The strategy that we have laid out has several elements to it. Number one is we're going to continue to focus on the legislative piece and the advocacy piece with the states. While we have this language in the NDAA, which is referred to as the reciprocity clause of the NDAA, recognizing professional licenses and certifications of military spouses and also transitioning veterans, it has not been recognized in several states. So we've continued to focus on that element. Number two is creating jobs around an installation, working with companies in the area where we are helping them win new business, creating these jobs, and then placing these individuals into these jobs that have been created as a result of the business development. Obviously, this is our core business and a natural evolution from what we do. The third piece of this is creating virtual jobs or looking at jobs across the United States. One of the real problems that especially the military spouse has faced over the years is while they're stationed at an installation, they may have a great job and start a career in Northern Virginia, and then after 2 or 3 years, their spouse is transferred to Alaska, and they're not able to keep that job. So a big part of this overall strategy has been how can we create long-term careers, especially for these military spouses, whether they're stationed in Florida or Alaska, they can continue to develop their career. And we've seen a lot of individuals already in the last few years where they have been able to take their career with them as they're transferred with their spouse. We think that this is not only important for the military family, the military member, the spouse, and their children, but this is really a national security issue. There is a challenge where we often hear of the military members saying, I love my service, I love what I'm doing, I just can't afford it. I can't, my spouse needs to work, and if I'm stationed at a Fort Bragg in North Carolina in a rural area, there are no jobs there. We worked with Fort Bragg some time ago, and for those of you that are not familiar with Fort Bragg, it's very similar to the Colorado Springs area, only there's not the infrastructure there. It is a very rural installation where there's about 100,000 military members there and spouses. There are no jobs. There's almost 2,000 teachers that are degreed teachers that just have no opportunity to work, and they want to work. There's no jobs there for them. So creating this trifecta of reciprocity for individuals with professional certifications and licenses, creating jobs around the installation, and then creating these virtual jobs. We think that we can get a significant amount of the military spouses and also transitioning members employed in a short period of time. So that's what the program looks like, and the discussion that we've had with OSD over the last few weeks. We're really excited about this, and we're excited to have really the keystone of this program at Fort Carson. So Bob and Tom, any other comments or thoughts about the overall initiative?
The only thing I would add, Sean, is that we want to be able to do a successful POC, a proof of concept. And if we can do that at Fort Carson, then we can roll that out to bases, Fort Bragg, and other installations all over the United States. And that's what we are pointing towards, and that's what our goal is.
And that's a great point. We've assembled a tremendous team to roll this initiative out across the United States. we're really excited about this. I believe that this is an initiative that will be a long-term 20, 30-year initiative and part of LSI's legacy after we're all gone. So Bob and Tom, thank you so much for participating with us this morning. It's great to see you. It's a pleasure working with both of you all of these years, and looking forward to this new chapter in our relationship. So thank you again for being with us this morning. And please, anyone on the team, if you have questions or ideas, connect with Bob and Tom, and they'd be happy to talk with you about what's going on in Colorado and elsewhere. A lot of as they both mentioned, we have pulled them in on a lot of the economic development, now social impact projects, engagements that we have working throughout the corporation. Bob and Tom, thanks again. Have a great weekend to you and your families, and look forward to rolling this out with both of you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.